and how much you have got a clear idea of the story. So what I am doing before starting the next part of the story, I will give a short sum up of the entire story from the beginning. So what happened, there was long ago, there was a town, and in that town there was a statue of an happy prince. The statue was covered with gold. Okay, it was having precious stones in the eyes like sapphires. It was having a precious ruby stone in the sword. So one day, a swallow bird was flying for Egypt, and it took some shelter. It wanted to have some rest in that city, so he took shelter under the statue of the happy prince. And then he found that the happy prince, the statue, it was actually crying. And as he asked that why he was crying, so the happy prince said that he is, after his death, he is able to watch so many miseries around him, the ugliness of the world, everything, all that unhappiness around him that he is able to see is making him unhappy, and he is helpless because he is a statue. He just can't go and help people even if he is willing to. So then he requested the swallow to help him a bit, to stay with him one night and help him be his messenger, because he wanted to help one seamstress. The seamstress was working day and night on making a gown on the embroidery works of the gown, flower embroidery works of the gown, which a lady, the lady was also a special lady because she was the queen's special maid, okay, queen's special friend. So therefore it was a kind of important work, and along with that, her own son was suffering in fever, and she was not having that money to buy him some oranges. He can only provide him with some river water. So the swallow was requested to take the ruby stone and give it to her. So the swallow gives the ruby to the seamstress when she was sleeping, and he comforted the son, and the son was feeling a little better. So after coming back to the happy prince, the swallow said that there is a strange, curious thing. He is wondering how he is able to feel so much warm inside when it is actually cold in the weather outside. So the happy prince answered that just because you have done a good work, therefore you are having this feeling. So the next day the swallow was getting ready to go for Egypt that night, but the happy prince again requested him to stay with him one more night, because he is having another person in misery to help, and that person is a young playwright, and the young playwright was not having food, not having enough fuel to keep himself warm, and he was struggling to write up a play to submit it to the director of a theater on time. But he was not able to do that because he was extremely weak. He was shivering in cold and he needed some support. So the happy prince asked the swallow to take his sapphire and drop it in his home. So the swallow hesitated in the beginning that how can he take the eye, then he will become half blind. But the happy prince insisted him, no, you please do this. So the swallow took the sapphire and dropped it in his hand, and the young man was very happy to get that thing, and he felt that somebody is there who is actually liking his work and giving him a token of appreciation. So he got a new energy to work. So in this way, the second day also got over. Now the third day, the swallow was really getting ready. Now he was very determined that he will be going to Egypt. So he just asked the swallow, he just went back to the happy prince and telling him that I am going Egypt tonight. But the happy prince started telling, swallow, swallow, little swallow, said the prince, will you not stay with me one more night longer? Just stay with me one more night. This is the third request he is making to the swallow. Just stay with me just one more night. 2 nights you have stayed with me, just one more night. It is winter, answered the swallow, and the snow will soon be here. In Egypt the sun is warm on the green palm trees, and the crocodiles lie in the mud and look lazily about them. But the swallow is trying to reason with him that how are you telling me to stay here? Already winter is coming, and now here it will start getting snowy, it will start snowing, and in Egypt there is such a beautiful scenery, everybody is enjoying there, the crocodiles, okay, everyone is like having a very happy time there. I need to go there, not here. In the square below, said the happy prince, there stands a little match girl. Now, the happy prince is showing him another story of misery. He is showing a match girl, a little match girl, and the little match girl was standing alone. She has let her matches fall in the gutter, and they are all spoiled. So, by accident, she dropped her match boxes inside the gutter, inside the drain, and all the matches got spoiled. Her father will beat her if she does not bring home some money. So she is having a very strict father at home. She need to earn and she need to sell those matchsticks and earn something, and she need to bring that earning to home. If she comes home empty handed, she will be getting beating from her father. And she is crying, and because of that, due to that fear, due to that, as she was terrified, she was crying. She has no shoes, no stockings. She was completely like bare. It was cold. She's not having shoes, nor stockings, and her little head is bare. Even she's not having any scarf above her head. Pluck out my other eye and give it to her, and her father will not beat her. So the happy prince requested the swallow, just pluck out my other eye, the other sapphire from my other eye, and give it to that little girl. Then her father will not scold her. I will stay with you one night longer, said the swallow, but I cannot pluck out your eyes. So the swallow is shocked. The swallow is talking, okay, fine, I will stay with you one more night. But how can you tell me to pluck out the other eye? If I pluck out the other eye, how you will see then? Okay, he was shocked. Swallow, swallow, little swallow, said the prince, do as I command you. This is my command. I am telling you to do this. That is why you will do this. Just do. So he plucked out the prince's other eye and darted down with it. He swooped past the match girl and slipped the jewel into the palm of her hand. So he just took out the other eye and flew towards the match girl and dropped the sapphire in her palms. What a lovely bit of glass, cried the little girl, and she ran home laughing. So now the little girl was very happy to get something which looks very pretty, very shiny, like a blue glass piece of glass. Okay, she got very happy. She went home laughing and dancing. Then the swallow came back to the prince. You are blind now, he said, so I will stay with you always. Now there is a change in the thinking style of this swallow. The swallow who was desperate to go to Egypt, okay, he had been reluctant to accept the request of the happy prince immediately. He was giving excuses, no, I am not interested in boys, I am not interested in this, I need to go Egypt and all. Suddenly, he is coming back to the happy prince and telling that, okay, as you are blind, I will be staying with you hereafter forever. Now, the happy prince also had a change of mind. The happy prince is telling, no, little swallow, said the poor prince, you must go away to Egypt. Don't just stay back for me. You don't need to stay for my sake. You can go to Egypt. Don't stay here. No, I will stay with you always, said the swallow, and he slept at the prince's feet. So now the swallow is stubborn. The swallow is telling, no, I have decided that what I am supposed to do, and I have decided to stay with you. I am here to help you. I am there for you. So I will be with you forever. So in telling this, the swallow slept at his feet. All the next day, he sat on the prince's shoulder and told him stories of what he had seen in the strange lands. From next day onwards, the happy prince used to meaning of this, there is no fire on the grate. Okay, there is no fire in the grate. That is the meaning that when that young playwright was writing plays, he will be having a small fireplace. Okay, every home will be having small fireplaces. So that fireplaces, that area is called where the fuels, the woods are kept for burning. That area is called grate. Okay, like a kind of store. From there the woods are being taken and put in the fire. So that area where we keep the woods, that is called grate, near the fireplace. Okay. Okay. So next, Okay, from next day the swallow started flying all across the town. It was flying everywhere and collecting information, observing different things, collecting stories and bringing it back to the happy prince to share, because the happy prince is no longer able to see things. So he has to be his eyes. The swallow is the happy prince's eyes to see what is happening all around the town. Dear little swallow, said the prince, you tell me of marvelous things. So you are really telling me marvelous stories, you are bringing me really interesting stories to hear. But he's telling, but more marvelous than anything is the sufferings of men and women. You please bring me the stories, you please tell me where people are suffering, where men and women are suffering. You tell me the stories of their suffering, because that is more interesting, that is more appealing to me. I want to know about them who are suffering, not just only stories. There is no mystery so great as misery. Fly over my city, little swallow, and tell me what you see there. So according to the happy prince, as he was living and had never faced sorrow or pains or sufferings throughout his life, therefore he feels it is a big mystery, it's a very curious thing how people really suffer, how people have so much of sadness in their life. So this thing is a big question to him, like a big mystery to the happy prince. Therefore, he asked the swallow, you just travel all over the city and collect the information where people are suffering. You come and tell me how people are suffering, so that once I come to know how people are suffering, I could help them. I could help them to get rid of their suffering and get little bit of peace and happiness in their life. So the swallow flew over the great city and saw the rich making merry in their beautiful houses, where the beggars were sitting at the gates. He flew into dark lanes and saw the white faces of starving children, looking out listlessly at the black streets. Under the archway of a bridge, two little boys were lying in each other's arms to try to keep themselves warm. How hungry we are, they said. You must not lie here, shouted the watchman, and they wandered out into the rain. So the swallow was flying, trying to collect a story of another misery. So while he was flying over the town, he found two things, two completely opposite things, contrasting things. What is that? That is one side where the rich people are living. So the rich people who are having lots of wealth, lots of money, big places to live, they are so happy, they are enjoying, they are laughing, they are dancing. Where on the other side, exactly the opposite is happening, where the people are very poor, they are like beggars, they are suffering for their daily survival, they are suffering for food, they are suffering for shelter from the cold. They are extremely suffering and they are struggling, they are not at all happy, they are very, very sad. And while noticing that, he suddenly spotted two little boys. Two little boys, they were hugging each other and laying in front of a gate. Obviously in front of a big mansion there will be a big gate. So in front of that big gate, these two boys were laying, trying to sleep, hugging each other because it was cold. So hugging each other will actually generate some kind of body warmth. They can share some body warmth with one another, as because they had no blankets. But at that time, the watchman shouted at them and told them, you must not lie here, this is not your place for sleeping, this is a rich man's private property, you must not sleep here, go away, move from here. So the boys went out into the rain, they had no shelter. Then he flew back and told the prince what he had seen. So now the swallow collected this information, saw this story, new misery scene, and went back to the happy prince and told the happy prince that this is what happening now in town regarding these two boys. I am covered with fine gold, said the prince. You must take it off leaf by leaf and give it to the poor. The living always think that gold can make them happy. So now the happy prince is no longer having the expensive stones. The ruby is gone, the two sapphires are gone. Now all is left with him is the gold plates. All over his body, he was ornated, he was decorated with the gold leaf plates. So he is telling the swallow, you remove the plates one by one, just take out the leaf of gold one by one and give it to the poor. Whoever you see suffering, you just donate this gold to them and make their life better, because gold is valuable for the living people. Gold is of no use for a person who is dead. Now here, who is dead? The Happy Prince is dead. The Happy Prince's statue is covered with covered with gold, but this gold is of no use to him now, because he is no longer living. He don't need this gold. Who really needs this gold? The living people, the poor. They can have this gold, they can sell this gold, they can earn some money out of it. They can get some money in exchange of this gold, and they can buy their food, they can buy their comfort, they can buy their shelter. So he is requesting to do that. So leaf by leaf after leaf of the fine gold the swallow picked off, till the Happy Prince looked quite dull and grey. Leaf after leaf of the fine gold he brought to the poor, and the children's faces grew rosier, and they laughed and played in the streets. So every day, leaf after leaf, means plates after plates of gold, the swallow used to take out from the prince's statue, and he would be going and donating to the poor children for their difficult situation. And the children were getting happier and happier, because they were getting gold, they were getting money, so they were able to eat some food, good enough food, and their cheeks were becoming rosier, means they were becoming more lively. They were so dull before, but from that dullness they are coming into a kind of lively figure. And they are not only lively, they are also laughing, they are also playing, they are having full of energy. We have bread now, they cried. They had food, so that food made them happy. So they were so happy, they are playing in the street, they are laughing, their cheeks are merry, their cheeks are rosy. Then the snow came, and after the snow came the frost. The streets looked as if they were made of silver. Everybody went about in furs, and the little boys wore scarlet caps and skated on the ice. So now, finally, the winter was becoming stronger and harder, and snow arrived. Means everywhere it was covered with snow, and it looks like everything was made of silver, like everything was white. And everyone, all the people were wearing warm clothes, thick fur clothes, so nobody is poor in that country anymore. Okay, everybody is happy, everybody is good enough. Okay, they are all having warmer clothes, they are all happy, everything is fine. No misery, no unhappiness anywhere around. They were enjoying, okay, they were skating on the ice. The poor little swallow grew colder and colder, but on the other hand, the poor little swallow, he was feeling colder. Every day he was feeling colder, a bit more colder than the previous day. But he could not leave the prince. Even if he had wings, he would have flown to Egypt, he would have gone to a warmer place, but he was not going to leave the Happy Prince alone. He loved him too well. Suddenly, this swallow bird had a deep connection, had a deep affection with this Happy Prince. He was not able to leave the prince alone. He picked up crumbs outside the baker's door when the baker was not looking, and tried to keep himself warm by flapping his wings. So somehow he adjusted himself with the Happy Prince. He needed food. He went in front of the baker's shop, and when the baker is not looking at that place, he collected some of the pieces of the bread for himself to eat. So this how he satisfied his hunger. And for making himself warmer, what he did? He used to flap his own wings. So flapping his own wings made the muscles a little bit warmer. So with that warmth, he tried to make himself warm in that cold. But he had no proper shelter, no clothing, no proper food. But everyone else is happy now. But at last, he knew that he was going to die. He had just enough strength to fly up to the prince's shoulder once more. "Goodbye, dear prince," he murmured. "Will you let me kiss your hands?" So now the swallow finally realizes that his time has come. He is going to die. He is very sick. He is not going to survive anymore. So somehow he managed to collect his last strength. He flew to the Happy Prince and told him, "Goodbye, I'm going now." Okay, and he just wanted a farewell. Now the Happy Prince thought something else. "I'm glad that you are going to Egypt at last, little swallow," said the prince. "You have stayed too long here, but you must kiss me on the lips, for I love you." So now the happy prince thought that maybe the swallow had finally decided to go to Egypt. It's better for him. You have lived with me too long. Now you can go. You go and take your own comfort. You go to Egypt and live there happily. But the swallow said, "It is not to Egypt that I am going," said the swallow. "I am going to the house of death. Death is the brother of sleep, is he not?" So he said that, "No, I am not going to Egypt. I am going somewhere else. I am going to the house of death." And death is the brother, the elder brother of sleep, isn't he? Means I am going for a longer sleep, a permanent sleep. And he kissed the happy prince on the lips and fell down dead at his feet. So, giving him a last goodbye, the swallow died, and died right at his feet. At that moment, a curious crack sounded inside the statue. There was a cracking sound inside the statue, as if something got broken inside him, as if something had broken. The fact is that the leaden heart had snapped right in two. So the fact what happened, what got broken? The happy prince was having a heart made of lead. So that leaden heart suddenly broke into two pieces. He got a heartbreak with the death of the swallow. It certainly was a dreadfully hard frost. The cold was so strong. People are telling that the cold was so strong that it made a crack in the leaden heart of the happy prince. Early the next morning, the mayor was walking in the square below in company with the town councillors. As they passed the column, he looked up at the statue. "Dear me, how shabby the happy prince looks," he said. So the next day, the swallow is dead, the happy prince's heart is broken. Now next day, the town mayor went for a visit in the town. He was just walking with his group of men, with his councillor. He was just walking, taking a tour of the town. And he suddenly spotted the statue of the happy prince, and he got shocked. "Oh, what is this? Dear me, how shabby the happy prince looks, how ugly, how bad this statue looks. The statue of the happy prince is looking so bad and ugly. The ruby has fallen out of his soul." Sorry. "How shabby indeed," cried the town councillors, who always agreed with the mayor, and they went up to look at it. So as the mayor commented how shabby, immediately they imitated the mayor and said, "Yes, definitely it is very shabby. See how shabby." Okay, they will follow everything, whatever the mayor will say, they will just repeat after him. That is their habit. Now the mayor is telling, "The ruby has fallen out of his sword, his eyes are gone, and he is golden no longer." So whatever expensive things were there in the statue, all gone. All are gone now. The ruby has fallen somewhere, the eyes are gone, the golden covering, the golden coating of the statue is no longer there. In fact, he is little better than a beggar. He is looking so ridiculously bad. He is just little bit better than a beggar. "Little better than a beggar," said the town councillors. "And here is actually a dead bird at its feet." Another shocking thing, and a dead bird at the happy prince's feet, continued the mayor. "We must really issue a proclamation that birds are not allowed to die here." So he got very disgusted with a dead bird lying at the happy prince's feet. He immediately said that there should be a rule. A new proclamation means a new rule should be declared in the town that no birds are allowed to die here. Okay, birds should not die. It looks so disgustingly ugly. And the town clerk made a note of the suggestion, so others took note of it, whatever he said. So they pulled down the statue of the happy prince. So with his order, the statue of the happy prince was taken down. "As he is no longer beautiful, he is no longer useful," said the art professor of the university. Even a university professor commented that this statue is no longer beautiful, and as because it is no longer beautiful, it is no longer useful, so it's better to take it off. Then they melted the statue in a furnace. "What a strange thing," said the overseer of the workmen at the foundry. So the statue was taken to the factory where the statue was being melted inside a furnace. Furnace means a kind of big cauldron where metals are kept and they are heated to the extreme level of temperature so that they will melt. Okay, so there the person in charge of the factory, he had a very strange observation. He saw that everything is getting melted, but the lead heart, the heart which was made of lead, that heart is somehow not getting melted. Okay, it was quite irritating thing. This broken lead heart will not melt in the furnace, so it's useless. So we don't try melting it, just throw it away. We must throw it away. It's of no use. It is not melting. We can't use it for anything good. So just better throw it away. So they threw it on a dust heap where the dead swallow was also lying. So they threw the leaden heart to a dust heap. Heap of dust means a mound of dust, like a dustbin. So already the dead bird was thrown in that heap of dust. The dead bird was lying there, and beside the dead bird now came the happy princess laden heart. So this is the end of the story. Now what happens in heaven? There is a picture of heaven. God is telling, "Bring me the two most precious things in the city," said the God to one of his angels, and the angels brought him the laden heart and the dead bird. So God one day told his angels that, "Go to earth and bring me two precious things, most precious things from earth. Bring two most precious things from earth." Now the angels went down to earth, and the angels brought back to heaven the dead swallow bird and the heart of the happy prince. The God said, "You have rightly chosen," said God, "for in my garden of paradise this little bird shall sing forever, and in my city of gold the happy prince shall praise me." So the God said that, "Angel, you have really made a right decision. You have really chosen it right. For in my garden of paradise, I am having a beautiful garden in my paradise, and this garden will be a perfect place for the swallow bird, because here the swallow bird will be able to sing to his heart's fullest. He will be having lots of pleasure. He will enjoy the rest of his eternal life here in my paradise. And I am also having a city of gold. I am having a big city of gold here in my paradise. So that gold city, my happy prince shall be living, and he will be appreciating me for giving him such a beautiful golden city." So these are the gifts that the happy prince and the swallow got after they died. Maybe their death was painful, means already the prince was dead, but the soul of the prince died along with the death of, along with that swallow, when the swallow died. So both of them died really like pathetically, but after their death, their soul, which is the eternal life, which is like forever, that soul went to heaven, heaven in paradise, in God's bliss, where they got God's total blessing. Okay, so though the story is little bit of sad, but in the conclusion we had a little bit relief here, that after all they are able to rest in peace. So this is where the story ends for you and for me. And already today's time is not there for my question answer discussion. Okay. Is the biography of the narrator or poet important? Why, where? Okay. Ma'am, will you not be giving us some lectures on Oscar Wilde? Yes, definitely I will be giving you some lectures on Oscar Wilde, but along with giving the lecture on Oscar Wilde, I will be discussing some of the important aspects of the story which you need to remember for forming whatever questions you get from this chapter. Okay, but today the time is so less, I won't be able to complete it in 5 minutes, so you need to give me one more day. So that day I will give you a very brief description of Oscar Wilde and his writing styles and about him, and whatever the rest of the things you needed for your syllabus for class 9 and also for your means for the rest of your life, whatever information you needed from this chapter, I will give it to you in my next class in a proper manner. That is, I hope, tomorrow, most probably. Okay, thank you then.